The Los Angeles Times announcing massive layoffs. This is just one of the mainstream corporate-controlled media companies that's announcing layoffs. Just now, BuzzFeed and Vice Media are looking to sell off their parts as well. Business Insider laying off 8% of their staff. It's falling fast with the media.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Ralph here. So let's talk about these layoffs that are happening, right? Because if you think about the economy, right, the way the economy runs is on spending, right? The more people spend, the better our economy is perceived to be. Right? And we know how people are. People are going to spend money, whether they're racking up credit card debt or they're using buy now, pay later options. They're going to find a way to spend money, right? And the reason why people spend is because they have money. The reason why people have money is because they have jobs. But what if it gets to a point where people are no longer working, right? Unemployment rate is going up and less people working, right? That's going to take a hit to our economy. That's going to be less people spending money, and that could bring our economy to a recession, right? And the thing you have to worry about is because, especially when it comes to these interest rates being the way they are, that's making debt more expensive, right? And that's especially with these companies where they're carrying this debt, they're going to find it more expensive to hold this debt. And if they're not hitting their profits the way they are, they're going to find ways to make cuts in their company, right? And usually the first thing to go when it comes to making cuts is usually labor, right? It's one of the most expensive expenses for companies. And you see that with companies where they're like, all right, we got to make our profits, so we're going to reduce labor. So they have these layoffs. So it's interesting to look at these companies and see the ones that are going through these layoffs, and based on these articles and what's going on, for now it seems like the companies that are doing layoffs are tech companies and media companies, right? So and as you watch this and you pay close attention, you just to see, all right, where is this going? Like, is this just like something? Is this just something just like a one-off thing, or is this a foreshadow of what's to come? And I have a couple of videos for you to show you like what's going on, the state of like when it comes to the layoffs, right? Because like I said, the big layoffs are coming from tech companies and like media companies. So two videos that I have for you that I want you to watch so you can get an idea of like a sense of like what's going on in terms of layoffs. We'll start with this guy over here. He talks about the Los Angeles Times, right? So let's hear what he has to say.
The Los Angeles Times announcing massive layoffs. This is just one of the mainstream corporate-controlled media companies that's announcing layoffs. Just now, BuzzFeed and Vice Media are looking to sell off their parts as well. Business Insider laying off 8% of their staff. It's falling fast with the media. So, for those of you who don't know, I used to work in the mainstream media for 25 years, and I left because I could see this coming. I could see that the mainstream media was not giving all of you what you want. They were being biased. They were putting narratives out there. They weren't doing what their readers and viewers wanted, and this is what's happening. And this is why I'm so glad that all of you are following me. I'm trying to give you the real news with no bias, no narratives, just the information. So where are all of you getting your media content from? Obviously, you're watching TikTok right now, but what other places? Podcasts, websites? Let me know in the comments below and what you think about this changing media landscape. My name is Dave Bondi. Make sure you're following me. Hit the plus symbol.
So yeah, and he makes a good point, especially when it comes to media, right? You look at these mainstream media companies, all they push is nonsense, propaganda, stuff that people don't really want to listen to. And the great thing about like social media, like you got like Twitter, you got YouTube, you get to follow people that you want to listen to, right? You don't have to really subscribe to these mainstream medias where they're just pushing a certain narrative and they want you to listen to a certain thing. And you understand, like, if you're not pushing good quality content, if people have no trust in what you're saying, people are going to either like unsubscribe or they're not going to listen to what you're saying. So you see these companies that push these things, they're not really educating people or really informing people on what's really going on. And people see that. People aren't stupid. People know what's going on and say, all right, you're not giving us the information, right? You seem to have a biased tilt with the information that you're pushing. So and eventually people turn people off and they go elsewhere, right? And you no longer need these huge media companies to get informed. You can go, like I said, you go on YouTube, you can follow the people that you want to do. You can go on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, and get information there. So people, I think, are seeing that, and people are choosing choosing specific places where they want to get their news. And like you said, you see places that you see all these companies that are laying people off in the media company, and people are finding different ways to get their information. So there's no surprise where I hear, see this happening. And you get, like I said, I don't watch mainstream media. I don't watch like any of these news networks. I go to like YouTube, go to Twitter, and people can say, these, it's just misinformation. But when you're talking about information, I get to choose and pick where I get this information. I can get different points of views, and I think that's important for a lot of people to get different views and see like where's this information coming. So there's no surprise. So the next video is about Microsoft laying people off. So let's listen to.
The layoffs in the video game industry are not slowing down at all. First reported on by The Verge and IGN, Microsoft announced this morning that they are cutting roughly 1,900 jobs across their gaming departments, which includes Xbox, ZeniMax, Bethesda, and Activision Blizzard. This of course comes after Xbox's $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard that went on for most of last year and ended mostly in October. With these layoffs, Blizzard's president Mike Ibarra is leaving, and so is one of the co-founders, Alan Adam. Also, their unannounced survival game, which was shared to be in development back in 2022, is canceled. This isn't the first big layoff we've seen this year too. Just last week, Riot let go of around 500 employees and shut down their Riot Forge arm. And Unity laid off around 1,800 employees earlier this month. It's been estimated that around 5,800 layoffs have already been announced in 2024, which is about 60% of the total amount of layoffs that we saw last year in 2023, and we're not even done with the first month of the year yet. I did think that we were going to get more layoffs this year. I just didn't think it was all going to happen so soon. The layoffs in the video game.
So you hear what's going on with Microsoft, and you come across this article on CNBC, and it says Microsoft lays off 1,900 workers, which is nearly 9% of the gaming division after Activision Blizzard acquisition. So you already see that these big companies are going, laying people off, and you're trying to figure out if this is like just a one-off thing, right? This is the time of the year where they're laying people off, or this is a foreshadow of things to come, right? As debt becomes more expensive, these companies are like, all right, we gotta make cuts. Because things aren't going well in the economy, and this is if this is just at the beginning, then obviously you're going to see more layoffs, more people being laid off, and less people having money to spend, and that's not going to be good for the economy. So let's read quickly like what they have with what's going on with Microsoft. So it says Microsoft will lay off around 1,900 employees in its gaming unit, around 9% headcount, according to Thursday memo obtained by CNBC. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer said that the layoffs were part of a larger execution plan that would reduce the areas of overlap a little more than 3 months after Microsoft closed on its acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Former Blizzard president Mike Ibarra said Thursday on social media platform X, formerly Twitter, that he would be leaving Microsoft and Blizzard. Blizzard co-founder Alan Adham, the unit's design chief, is departing, and Blizzard will stop developing a new survival game. Matt Booty, head of Microsoft Gaming Studios, said in a memo. The Verge published Booty's memo with Microsoft spokesman. So you see that. So yeah, they're going through that. They're going through, and not only that, also they have another on was Paramount CEO announces layoffs as cost pressures take private talks build. So Paramount is even going through these layoffs. And that's the thing. You look at these big companies like these media companies, like streaming companies, like Paramount and other ones. The only profitable streaming company that I know of is Netflix, right? That's the only streaming company that's been able to make a profit. So you see all these other companies trying to compete with Netflix, but they finding it, making sure they find it very hard because you got to create content, right? And then you got the writer strikes, you got the actor strikes. So there's probably a lag when it comes to creating content, because creating content is very difficult, especially with these big companies. You gotta buy all these. You gotta worry about the actors. You gotta worry about creating content, and it's very expensive. And it's no surprise that you hear Netflix is probably the only streaming company that's made a profit. So this is something to watch and keep your eye on, because if layoffs continue to happen, then obviously when it comes to the economy, you're going to be worried about a recession happening in the economy, and that wouldn't be good, because if less people are spending, right, that's less profits that these obviously companies are making, and less profits that companies are making, they're going to say, all right, we're going to need to make cuts, and that's going to be more layoffs and less spending for the economy, and that's obviously going to take a big hit on our economy. So let me know what your thoughts are. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so you guys take care and have a good one. Later.